Greetings, New Zealand naturopath Eric Bakker, author of Candida Crusher and also the formulator of the Candida range of dietary supplements. Thanks for tuning in. The question today is, do mushrooms aggravate Candida? If you've got a yeast infection, can you eat mushrooms? Well, in my Candida Crusher book, I did write precautionary things about mushrooms for people, but since then I can tell you that I've worked with a lot of people who do eat mushrooms on the Candida diet who've had absolutely no bad effects at all. So, in fact, one researcher recently told me that it was quite stupid telling people who've got Candida to avoid all forms of mushrooms because Candida is like a fungus, so is a mushroom, and therefore it's feeding, itself. So that's probably a bit like saying, well, if you've got a strep or staph infection, you should kill off all the beneficial bacteria in your gut, because why would you want to feed the beneficial bacteria if you're trying to kill bad bacteria, when in fact strep and staph bacteria are very closely related to lactobacillus, much more so than Candida is to mushrooms. So think about that kind of logic for a moment. It doesn't make sense. And I must admit, I have got many patients who eat portobello mushrooms or champignons, those small white ones, with Candida. They have got no ill effects whatsoever. I've also got some patients who believe it's perfectly fine to eat blue vein cheese when you've got Candida. I keep telling you guys, you need to experiment for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to stuff you read on the internet. Try yourself, and if in doubt, try very small amounts to see how you feel. Don't automatically assume that all mushrooms are going to create a huge aggravation with Candida. Because if you cook beautiful portobello mushrooms in butter and eat them, in my opinion, you probably won't get any problems. So it's trial and error. You need to experiment for yourself. Some of you out there will have a bad effect, but I could probably automatically tell you now that I think the majority won't have a bad effect eating mushrooms with Candida. So just because you read something on the internet, it doesn't mean to say that it's necessarily the truth. Okay? I read lots of interesting stuff on the internet, just like you do, that the world's coming to an end, that we're all going to die of herpes and AIDS. Okay? All this sort of stuff. So don't believe this kind of nonsense, okay? You need to trial this for yourself, because mushrooms are a really good food to eat. There's no doubt about it. I think portobello mushrooms are beautiful. And there's also plenty of research to validate that mushrooms, many different kinds of mushrooms, have a very powerful beneficial effect to the immune system, rather than, an ability to build up Candida levels. I could find no research at all anywhere suggesting that eating mushrooms on a Candida diet will aggravate the Candida and make it much worse. If you can find something, send me the link and let me find the research papers behind it, because I can't find anything on it. And my clinical experience, especially the last 5 years or so, even more so the last 2 or 3 years since I've written my book, has shown me that most people probably can tolerate mushrooms on an antifungal diet. Even if they're trying to tackle SIBO, they're probably fine to eat mushrooms. So how's that? Don't forget to click on the link below this video for your free Candida shopping list. Thanks for tuning in.